Right now on News 8, making more money, how your gender may impact your income and what the presidential candidates want to do about it. And no budget, no paycheck. Illinois lawmakers will have to get in line why their pay could now be delayed for months.
Live from WQAD, News 8 at 10 starts now.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for News 8 at 10. I'm Megan Noe. Topping our news tonight, an announcement from the Illinois Comptroller. Illinois is going on 10 months without a state budget, and now elected state officials won't be getting paid, at least not right away. Republican Comptroller Leslie Munger broke that news today to the governor's office and Springfield lawmakers. She says they'll be joining the scores of state agencies and social service providers that aren't receiving payments until the cash is available. Munger says she didn't consult with party leaders on the decision.
It just does not seem fair that I should get my paycheck. Those of us who are elected to serve should be getting our paychecks when the people who are funding our salaries are going out of business.
Munger says Illinois' current backlog of bills is close to $8 billion and will grow to $10 billion in June. Police are looking for a man who robbed a U.S. Cellular in Eldridge at gunpoint this afternoon. 2 employees were in the store just after 3 when it was robbed. Police looked at the store's surveillance video and say the suspect is a black man with tattoos on his hands. Police say they do not know exactly what was stolen, and they are still investigating. Burlington police have arrested a man after a string of gas station robberies. Officers arrested 19-year-old Devon Michael Mosey this morning. Investigators say Mosey is behind 3 separate armed robberies over the past week, where he would enter a Burlington Gasland with a handgun and demand cash. Mosey is now being held at the Des Moines County Jail. Volunteers did some spring cleaning around St. Ambrose University today. QC Bank and Trust teamed up with St. Ambrose students for the 2nd annual Community Day. Volunteers helped pick up trash and put down fresh mulch in people's yards in the South Locust neighborhoods. Groups worked together to clean up alleyways in the area as well. Neighbors say they're thankful for the extra help because it's a huge time saver.
Well, it saves me a lot of time. I work a lot and I don't have the time to do all this yard work all the time. Plus, I like to go out and play too, and this isn't my favorite thing to do, so.
The event included a free neighborhood cookout for all the neighbors and volunteers who helped out. And even spring cleaning and yard work isn't so bad when the weather is this beautiful. Meteorologist Kelsey Woodard is in the Weather Center tonight with a look at how long these temperatures will stick around. Kelsey?
Hey Megan, tomorrow we're going to see another nice day with temperatures kind of an extension of what we saw this weekend, and seeing a very mild night tonight. Temperatures still we could consider on the warm side. 64 degrees for your current temperature. Very calm winds out there with clear skies. We could see a few clouds build in tonight, but that's about it. Just a few clouds, though, staying dry. The 60s all across the board now. 68 degrees, Clinton, 66 degrees in Burlington. Tonight we'll see the 50s move on in the low 50s here in the Quad Cities, in the mid 50s as we head around the Clinton, also around the Galesburg area. But we are going to see dry skies for now. We do have some wet weather in your forecast. I'll let you know when we can expect it and how long it'll stick around coming up.
In tonight's Your Voice, Your Vote coverage, Democrats and Republicans spent much of the week attacking members of their own party. News 8's Christina Laurie is here to explain and discuss this week in politics. Christina?
Hi, Megan. The big news of the weekend starts in Wyoming. Ted Cruz swept the state, collecting all 14 delegates. Under Wyoming's electoral rules, 12 more delegates were awarded last month. Most of them went to Cruz as well. Now the Texas senator has clinched at least 23 of Wyoming's 29 delegates for the presidential convention in Cleveland this July. Political analysts say this win gives Cruz momentum moving forward and boosts the chance he could get the nomination if Trump doesn't secure the 1,237 delegates he needs by July. Meanwhile, Trump is lashing out at Cruz, as well as another familiar target who he's got a new nickname for.
So I'm self-funding. All of this is mine. When I fly in, it's on my dime, right? It's on my dime. And what does that mean? That means I'm not controlled by the special interests, by the lobbyists, and they control Crooked Hillary, and they control Lion Ted Cruz, right?
Crooked Hillary joins the list of Trump-given nicknames for this year's presidential candidates. Trump refers to Ted Cruz as Lion Ted and used to call Marco Rubio Little Marco and Jeb Bush Low Energy Jeb. Also attacking Clinton are Bernie Sanders supporters who threw $1,000 in singles at her motorcade yesterday. Clinton was on her way to a fundraiser at George and Amal Clooney's home in Los Angeles. Tickets for the star-studded event started at more than $30,000. And Sanders supporters didn't like that amount of money being thrown around. Their cash protest was part of a counter fundraiser for Sanders, thrown by Clooney's neighbor, Howard Gold. Tickets for the Sanders event were much less, only $27 apiece. Earlier this week, candidates in both parties, as well as men and women across America, celebrated Equal Pay Day, a day meant to highlight wage inequality. On average, women make 79 cents for every dollar a man makes. President Obama isn't happy about that, but where do our current presidential candidates stand?
Equal pay for equal work
should be a fundamental principle of our economy.
President Obama told the country this week on Equal Pay Day.
It's the idea that whether you're a high school teacher, a business executive, or a professional soccer player or tennis player, your work should be equally valued and rewarded, whether you are a man or a woman.
It's not uncommon for women to face obstacles. Less than a century ago, we couldn't vote. And still, in 2016, women are outnumbered in boardrooms across the country. They're absent from many government positions of power, and a woman has never been president. This year's presidential candidates have all said they support equal pay for men and women. But sometimes, their records tell a different story. Hillary Clinton has long been a supporter of gender equality.
There's no discount for being a woman. Groceries don't cost us less, rent doesn't cost us less, so why should we be paid less?
As a senator, she voted for the Paycheck Fairness Act and co-sponsored the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, making it harder for employers to discriminate based on gender, race, age, or disability. Bernie Sanders also supports the Paycheck Fairness Act.
They want the whole damn dollar, and they're right.
He's also pushing for equal pay for women of color, who he says face a pay gulf, not a gap. Some Republicans in Congress say the issue is something both parties can agree upon.
Today is Equal Pay Day, and this is not a partisan issue.
Ted Cruz has acknowledged that women face hurdles in the workplace, but his record of backing legislation to help these women has been spotty. In 2014, he voted against the Paycheck Fairness Act. Donald Trump said last August that men and women deserve equal pay for equal work, but a few months later, he reversed his position, saying there isn't a pay gap after all. In January, a former staffer sued Trump for gender discrimination, claiming male staffers were paid more than women staffers. John Kasich has faced similar claims. A 2014 Dayton newspaper investigation found that women working in Kasich's office earned almost $10 an hour less than men. But Kasich countered, saying women are less experienced than men in most jobs, and that's why they make less. For now, the fight remains in President Obama's hands, and he's pushing for equal pay.
I want young girls and boys to come here 10, 20, 100 years from now to know that women fought for equality. I want them to be astonished that there was ever a time when women earned less than men for doing the same work.
And from getting paid to paying, this is your reminder that tax day is tomorrow. It's usually April 15th, last Friday, but was extended this year because of Emancipation Day, a holiday celebrated by Washington, D.C. residents and IRS employees. If you haven't done your taxes yet and can't meet tomorrow's deadline, don't worry. You can file for a 6-month extension, but you have to do it by tomorrow. Also in Washington, D.C., the U.S. Supreme Court will begin hearing oral arguments tomorrow over a major immigration case involving President Obama. The president issued an executive order sparing more than 4 million undocumented immigrants from deportation by giving them work permits here in the U.S. A federal judge in Texas blocked the program last year, and 26 other states joined the lawsuit, too. There are currently only 8 justices on the Supreme Court, so if the vote ends in a tie, the president's executive action will be thrown out. Megan?
Thanks, Christina. Coming up on News 8 at 10, a second chance. What would you do if given a second shot at life? A Davenport man answers that question 2 years after his kidney transplant.
You're watching News 8 at Megan Noe.